What's going on, hookers? I got a couple for you today. First one I'm gonna look at, we'll start with the Bulls and the Grizzlies. Now, I've been looking at this game for a couple days now, and been doing good with the Grizzlies, cashing tickets for and against them. And I was looking at the Bulls side from the other day, revenge game, all that, right? But things have changed dramatically in the last day. And so here's what I'm seeing right now. Let me know what you think in the comments. The Bulls have lost four straight right now, right? They lost to the Magic, they lost to the Grizzlies on Monday, they lost to the Timberwolves, they lost to the Hawks. All right. A couple of those were understandable. I cashed with the Grizzlies. I cashed with the Hawks on those losses, and the Magic and the Wolves. Those are horrible losses by the Bulls, and that's what's telling to me with them right now. With that Vucevic trade, I was expecting a different team. I think we saw a little bit of that early in the month of April, but things have changed dramatically in the last four games. They just don't look the same. And to make matters worse, you have Zach LaVine, who's out indefinitely for like 2 weeks for protocols. And Satoransky today is listed as probable. But don't be surprised if we see additional players added to the injury report today due to protocol. Tough spot today for the Bulls. Offensively, they've been struggling recently. I kind of mentioned previously that with this trade with Vucevic, things were looking okay to start April, but recently have appeared to go downhill. Their offense just looks out of balance. Those Vucevic and LaVine seem to be the only two consistent, guys on offense, and then beyond that, you're not sure who's going to show up on any given day. Today, I'm discounting the injured star theory with LaVine out. And because the way I see the Bulls right now is they've lost their direction, it appears, at least in the near term, and now they're temporarily without their heart. I mean, LaVine is the Bulls, and so I just think it's horrible timing for them to lose LaVine, and to top all of that, they're 1-4 against the spread in the last 5 games. So they're not a team that I can get behind right now as much as I wanted to today. But hey, you got to be ready to get off a play if you're, even if you're looking at one a few days out. You got to keep an open mind always. Look at the information and listen to yourself. Let's look at the Grizzlies side. Why do we switch to the Grizzlies? I believe, in a nutshell, that they're simply the better team right now and today. The name of the game is to score points, right? You score more points, you win. That's how you win the game. The way I see today, I just see points out of the Grizzlies today. I'd be surprised if the Bulls get over 105 today, and so Grizzlies are 6-2 against the spread the last 8. They're 3-0 against the spread on the road in April. Brandon Clark is questionable today. That could affect their rebounds. He had 9 boards in their matchup on Monday against the Bulls, but they won the battle of the boards 51-40. So let's just assume Clark's out. All right. I mean, that means what the board's gonna be relatively even, just assuming the numbers are the same. And he's listed questionable, so he could still play. So the worst case scenario, the boards could potentially be evened out. But again, with the loss of LaVine, maybe there's a loss of motivation for the Bulls. So I'm not reading too much into Clark right now, and I see this as a great opportunity for the Grizzlies to pick up a win here against a weak Bulls team that they know they can beat, because they just beat them the other day, without their star. So I think they know they can beat them, and they have a pretty tough game stretch coming up here against some playoff bound teams. So today's the day. So we're gonna go Grizz. We're laying the points with the Grizz. I got -4 earlier. I think I'm seeing some I saw some 3.5s and 4, 3.5 juiced and stuff when I got it. So I took the 4 at -106. I got that at FanDuel. All right, so now we're going to talk about the second game that I'm looking at today. That is the Blazers and the Spurs. The Blazers are off of 3 days rest, and right now that's that's rare. 3 days of rest is like a week off right now. The Blazers are 2-4-1 against the spread in April. Not too impressive, but you always got to look deeper into these things, okay? And turns out they had a pretty tough schedule for the month of April, at least in my opinion. But here they played, so again they played 7 games in this month. 5 of them have been against these teams: the Bucks, the Clippers, the Jazz, the Heat, and the Celtics. Those are tough teams. So it makes sense that they're going to have a tough ATS record this month. Okay, so I'm discounting the ATS record. If anything, it's going to more likely to progress back to even, meaning 50-50 or so. No injuries today for the Blazers. It's always good, right? Always checking injury reports. Love to see no injuries. So no injuries for the Blazers today. And they had a tough loss for the Celtics at home on Tuesday. I think they should have won that game. They were right there at the end. They're battling with them. They ended up losing by 1. That was a push. So, I think they have a little bit of a sore taste in their mouth, perhaps. And lastly, I'll leave you with this stat here: Blazers versus teams with records under 500, so losing records. They're 20-7 straight up. That trend bodes well for us. So I like the Blazers there, but let's look at the Spurs side, right? I always got to look at both sides. Spurs are on 2 days rest. The Spurs are 3-5 against the spread in April, and 0-3 against the spread at home. And who did they play to lose at home against the spread? They played the Hawks, they played the Pacers, and the Cavs. They got blown out by the Cavs. Okay, all right. And we compare that to the Blazers. Are the Blazers equal to a Hawks, Pacers, Cavs? Certainly better than the Cavs. I'd argue they're better than the Pacers right now, and probably relatively similar to the Hawks. Okay. Spurs have no major injuries right now, and I mean, unless you want to count Dang, but he's off the bench, so I again, no major injuries. And the Spurs have played a considerably weaker schedule in the month of April versus the Blazers, so that's something to take into account. I see this as a pretty bad spot for the Spurs. They've just ended a 5-game road trip, and now they're coming back for just 1 game. Now, a lot of the great crappers I've learned from and listened to and still do daily. This comes up. We like to remind folks that, hey, athletes are people too, right? They got families, they got kids, and so they came home, right? Hang out with the wife, hang out with the kids. We got baseball and Little League starting up. Maybe there's some stuff going on like that. Who knows, right? Life happens is what I'm trying to tell you. So they're going to be home for 1 game, and they're going to leave tomorrow. They're going to leave tomorrow to go on a road trip, right? Pretty quick. And these spots, these more often than not can be flat spots for that home team. It's common to see that you don't get the best out of the home teams in this spot. Pair that with, we already know they're not good at home this month. They're 0-3 against the spread. And I asked myself, is this a spot that the Spurs turn it around and break that trend? I'd say, history would say that it's probably not it. Because I feel the Blazers are more prepared today and just simply the better team, I'm anticipating 120 plus points from them, and I'll lay the 2.5. So Blazers -2.5 is what I got here. The hook official plays on Friday. I have the Blazers -2.5 and the Memphis Grizzlies -4. Best of luck, everybody. We'll see you next week. I'll be out of town this weekend, but I'll be watching games. You know this.